where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley and Las Cruces to El Paso and the borderland. This is ABC7's Good Morning El Paso.
A very good morning to El Paso, Las Cruces, and Juarez. I'm Stephanie Valle.
And I'm Hillary Floren. Good morning, everyone. Good Monday morning, we should say. Crystal's got to look at our forecast for this Monday. It's going to take the Monday blahs away, right?
Sure is. Looks good, Crystal.
It does. The forecast looks great as we move into your work week. I don't have too concerning of updates for you. Instead of talking high wind gusts or rain chances, today we're just talking low 80s and nice start to your morning. Here we are. Look at your clouds and radar map. Freeze frame here from 6 a.m. shows us it's a nice and clear start to our day. And actually through most of today we should see that with just a few extra clouds on the outer edge of our viewing zone. How about for our temperatures? We're starting off 55 in El Paso. Winds are at 3 miles per hour. Over to Las Cruces, your temperature right now sitting at 43 degrees. Also light wind speed. So this morning temperatures a little more cool in Las Cruces, but overall you can dress for a more typical spring forecast starting in the 40s and 50s, warming this afternoon to the 80s. But how about those winds? They do pick up some today. We'll talk about wind gusts today and what to expect in the days to come. That coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Crystal. To our top story right now from New Mexico. Happening today, a new Walmart could be heading to Las Cruces if City Council approves a zoning change. The area in question is a section of land right near Toshiro and North Valley Drive. The possibility has local businesses upset, though, because there are 3 Walmarts in Las Cruces, and they say there's no need for another one. City officials could not confirm to us whether Walmart is trying to move into the area or not, but a business owner who has several liquor licenses said in an earlier meeting that he was approached by a Walmart neighborhood store to buy one of those liquor licenses. That has led to many people to believe that Walmart is setting up shop in that location.
You may have heard about the 2 TSA officers at Denver International Airport who were busted for groping passengers. A former agent says he's not surprised by their scheme. In fact, he believes this type of stuff happens all the time. Tom Foreman explains.
TSA officers using their high-tech scanners to identify, pull aside, and then grope attractive male passengers. That's what authorities say was going on at Denver International until the 2 officers involved, a man and a woman, were caught and left their jobs. And if that's not enough to horrify many flyers, now comes this from Time magazine. The bigger issue here is a systemic one. There are far too many federal hands on people's private parts in airports. The writer is Jason Edward Harrington, a former TSA agent who insists this sort of thing happens all the time in airports everywhere. He writes, "The agent running his or her hands over you after you pass through the scanner is almost never doing it for good reason. What's more," he adds, "victims will likely never even know they were assaulted, since so many passengers have their private parts fondled." To be sure, Harrington has written fiery critiques of the TSA before, notably this one called "Dear America, I Saw You Naked." He argues that full-body scanners are routinely used to let officers leer at passengers, and yet they find few actual security threats. The TSA has steadily pushed back against such notions and suggests the Denver incident is an oddity. The former administrator defends officers conducting by-the-book pat-downs as well.
Individual passengers may still object to that and how they do that, but as long as they're doing that correctly, they're doing their job.
Still, as authorities consider charges against those officers involved, the Denver story is supercharging Harrington's idea that it's difficult to tell where airport security ends and sexual assault begins these days.
And that was Tom Foreman reporting.
An El Paso family is recovering this morning after a fire destroyed their home over the weekend. It happened yesterday afternoon on the 300 block of Santa Rosa.
Necesito ayuda, si alguien me puede ayudar a reponer lo que perdimos materialmente.
Imelda Corral told us she's grateful no one was hurt, but she needs help now to rebuild. Damage is estimated at $90,000. The cause of the fire is still under investigation this morning. A little boy who lives at the home is hoping that someone will help his family out.
My PlayStation was in there, and I wasted so much money just to play Minecraft. If anybody can donate anything, you should donate.
The family is staying with relatives. If you'd like to help the Corral family, you can call the number on your screen. And now to the latest on the pedestrian that was struck on Dyer Street early Sunday morning. He is now at UMC with serious injuries. It happened on the 4800 block of Dyer. Police say a 35-year-old man was crossing the street when he was struck by a Dodge Charger. Police say the female driver fled the scene and returned a short time later. She was taken into custody, and police believe that she was drinking and driving.
This morning, Mexican authorities say the leader of the Juarez drug cartel is in jail. Mexican authorities say they've captured Jesus Salas Aguayo. He's accused of taking over the Juarez drug cartel after last year's arrest of Vicente Carrillo Fuentes. He was arrested Friday in Villa Ahumada. That's about 75 miles south of Juarez. One of his bodyguards was killed by authorities and another was arrested. Aguayo is linked with a 2010 car bombing in Juarez, as well as a 2012 bar attack that killed 15 people.
Switching gears, it is the first of its kind in the entire state of Texas. Gigis Playhouse has opened in El Paso. Gigis Playhouse is where hundreds of people, borderland people with Down syndrome, can learn and play. It's free, it's positive energy educational. It's a center for children with Down syndrome and their families. But most importantly, it shows families that they're not alone, but part of a global community.
I was devastated. I'm kind of ashamed to say that now that I have more experience with him. He's brought us nothing but joy. He is awesome. He's amazing. He surprises us every day. He is so fun.
El Paso's Gigis Playhouse is the 23rd in the nation and the first in the state of Texas, along with 2 years of fundraisers and a $60,000 grant from the Junior League of El Paso. 20 volunteers were provided to make the center possible. The goal is to have 30 Gigis Playhouses running by the end of this year. A bill that could decriminalize having small amounts of marijuana is still a major conversation here in Texas. It was a topic of last night's ABC 7 Extra, too. We have Denise Olivas on this story live with a recap right now. Good morning, Denise.
Good morning, Hillary. House Bill 507, proposed by El Paso Democrat Joe Moody, has garnered some surprising support at the state capitol. Moody says the bill could go to the full House and believes that it'll come down to a close vote. Bill Moody's bill, or legislation, is just one of several bills dealing with marijuana. According to statistics from his office, Texas spends $734 million a year making 70,000 marijuana arrests and prosecutions, many involving young people with small amounts. And Moody says Texas is wasting time and money on these minor offenses, and he adds it is potentially ruining the future of our economy.
I don't think the punishment to date fits the crime. You have collateral consequences that can derail a young person's life. I think those are some of the reasons that you saw a group like the Texas Association of Business support my legislation, because they don't want to make an entire class of people in Texas unemployable. That's not good for the Texas economy.
And under Bill Moody's legislation, punishment would include confiscation of the marijuana and a $250 fine. If the person is unable to pay, then they would have to complete community service hours or enroll in a drug program. And we'll hear from our other guest in our next half hour. Hillary and Stephanie, back to you.
All right. Thanks so much, Denise, for that update.
It is 6:09, taking a look at traffic over on the far east side at I-10 and Joe Battle, where you can see that traffic was starting to pick up just a bit out there. Just no problems to report. Be careful as you get on the road this morning.
Slow start to the Monday, right? Keep it here for much more to come on Good Morning El Paso.
Would you consider drinking beer made from sewage water? Well, that's what's happening in Oregon. We'll explain how that's going to work.
Also, a case of distracted driving that takes the cake. We'll show you what one driver did that earned him a ticket, and wait till you hear what this guy was driving. That makes the story.
And first, storm track weather meteorologist Crystal Cly is tracking our forecast for today. Hi, Crystal.
Hi, and it's a good forecast. You're going to want to stay tuned for the details on if there's any chance of rain over the next few days. It's after your break.
Thanks, Crystal. This is ABC 7, where news comes first.